SCP-004, Object Class Euclid. SCP-004 consists of an old wooden barn door, SCP-004-1, and a set of 12 rusted steel keys, SCP-004-2 through 13. The door itself is the entrance to an abandoned factory in chronological history. July 2nd, 1949. A group of 3 juveniles trespassing on federal property near find the door. According to their testimony, they found a set of rusted keys in an iron lockbox and determined what door the keys unlock. The juveniles were taken into custody after they contact sheriff when one of their friends, SCP-004-CASL1, goes missing. July 3rd, 1949. Local authorities find the severed right hand of SCP-004-CASL1, 8 kilometers from SCP-004-1. Other parts of SCP-004-CASL1's body are found scattered as far as 32 kilometers from the factory. Under interrogation, the apprehended juveniles tell authorities that upon opening the door with one of the keys, SCP-004-CASL1 was torn into several pieces, each of which disappeared. At this point, the SCP Foundation takes over the investigation. July 4th, 1949. SCP agent obtains the keys from the local authorities to begin testing. Tests show that SCP-004-2 through 13 all fit into a single lock on the large barred door. 12 Class D personnel are assigned to test the effects of the door. Of the 12 test subjects, each trying a different key to enter the room, only 2 survive. Opening the door with any key except 004-7 or 004-12 caused the test subjects to be torn apart in multiple directions. However, no dismembered parts were found until later. At the time of writing, only 2 parts of each subject have been recovered, with the exception of the subject using 004-, whose pieces were scattered in close proximity. The others have, for all intents and purposes, vanished from existence. Of the 2 surviving subjects, only one, having used 004-7, returned unharmed. The other came back in a near catatonic state, able only to remove himself from the room and then collapsed on the floor, and had to be restrained to prevent him from gouging out his eyes. The subject using 004-7 said he had entered a large room impossibly big for the size of the attacked building. After his exit, 004-1 was propped open and an armed squad of Level 3 personnel entered. The size of the room is impossible to measure, and the door frame and the individuals in the room are the only part of the room that can be felt or illuminated. 1949. The juvenile suspects and sheriff are terminated. August 2nd, 1949. Is declared a hazardous area due to unexploded ordnance and fences erected in order to prevent civilian ingress. Tests to determine safety of exposure to environment behind 004-1 begin. December 1st, 1950. Space-time anomalies resulting from exposure to 004 are confirmed. Testing is suspended until further notice. July 2nd, 19. The unaccounted for remains of 004-CASL1 appear unexpectedly outside 004-1. Despite being killed decades before, the remains of 004-CASL1 are not decomposed in any manner and are still warm to the touch. Blood remains uncoagulated. The remains are remanded for testing. July 4th, 19. The unaccounted for remains of one of the 12 original test subjects appear in similar manner to those of 004-CASL1. The remains have been designated 004-CASL2. Records suggest that both 004-CASL1 and CASL2 used SCP-004- March 21st, 1999. With the massive proliferation of nuclear weapons and World War III only years away, construction has begun on a site inside 004-1. The site is to stock supplies for person days. April 21st, 1999. has ordered the site inside 004-1 to be expanded to include emergency storage for all mobile SCP specimens and a petabyte database for the storage of all SCP data. The facility is now referred to as Site 62. September 25th, 2000. Site 62 is operational. Labs and containment units are complete and can contain the most dangerous specimens. Backup of the SCP database has begun. January 25th, 2001. Due to time anomalies, all personnel working at Site 62 are now required to reside on site permanently. Families of personnel are to be informed that loved ones perished in an industrial accident. Clone bodies have been prepared for funeral. August 14th, 2003. Massive power outage across northeast United States and through Canada. Due to the initial failure of multiple SCP generators, Site 62 was without power for 53 minutes. During those 53 minutes, those on site were completely without any source of light. They reported sensing creatures and people, although no abnormal entities could be seen or felt. Selected facility personnel were allowed to read and said the creatures sensed were of humanoid size but otherwise similar to the massive green creature described. Additional notes. Testing on SCP-004 reveals that 10 of the keys open 004-1 on a dimension where the laws of physics and topology are significantly different than those of our home dimension. Test subjects meeting these hostile conditions are torn apart, their body parts deposited in various locations, only 3 of which have been verified to be on Earth. Material deposited at 2 of these points appears immediately. Material deposited at the 3rd appears exactly years into the future. The other 7 locations are currently unknown. Current testing focuses on 2 avenues of research. The first is finding ways to survive 004's hostile topologies. The second suggests that 004-2 through 13 may open doors other than 004-1. Appendix A, Mental Health Effects of 004-12. All Class D personnel using 004-12 return in a catatonic state, unable to speak. Some may have enough energy left to try to claw their eyes. Of the 16 subjects, only 4 have survived. Only 1 has regained speech following long-term psychotherapy. He was able to tell the psychiatrist that he saw a massive green creature so large that much of its body extended beyond his field of view. He reported innate fear and sudden recognition as if it were something buried deep in his primal fears, and forced implantation of incomprehensible memories. Subject displays acute, anterograde, and retrograde amnesia. Appendix B. Additional information. Item number 004-14. Data discovery, September 2nd, 1950. Origin of object. Object was discovered elsewhere in a factory area in the previously undiscovered manager's office. Object appears as a large, unvarnished wooden box. The box may be unlocked by the safe key 004-7 as well as 5 of the unsafe keys. Upon unlocking 004-14 with 004-7, the box opens automatically on hinges. The volume of the space inside is precisely 5 times greater than the outer dimensions imply. Item is placed within the lid, remains open. Do not affect the weight of any other properties of the box. When the lid is closed and locked, however, all items inside vanish irretrievably. Personnel locked inside the box are also irretrievable, although losing personnel in this fashion appears to affect significantly the dreams experienced by handling items 004-2 through 13. Proper procedure is vital. The items are not permitted to be moved off-site unless accompanied by 2 Level 4 security personnel. Under no circumstances should any other component of 004 be taken through 004-1. The effects of doing so are as yet unknown, and the current cost of experimentation makes further research impractical. Should any of the objects contained within 004-1 breach containment or the facility be breached, the keys must be brought inside and the door closed prior to activation of Site 62's on-site warhead. unauthorized removal of keys from the testing area is grounds for immediate termination. Level 1 clearance is required for basic access to 004-1. Level 4 clearance is required for use of 004-2 to 13. Here. Thanks so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoy it. I apologize for the delay on releasing it. I had some technical difficulties. But either way, I hope y'all enjoyed it. Please subscribe and like the video for more content. I will see you all next time. Wicked, signing off.